if you can turn that jealousy into curiosity about your own experience and about what's going on underneath that, there's so much on the table for you in terms of what you're actually able and capable of attracting into your life and beyond your current belief system. That's for sure.
Being upset that you don't have this isn't going to get you to the place where you can have it. All you're going to do is hurt your friendships with both of these two people who you love so much. Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And it's Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, number 311, Motivation Monday. What are you willing to sacrifice for your growth? For today, 312, how to navigate jealousy. This is a super uncomfortable topic. I don't think anybody actually likes acknowledging the fact that they experience jealousy, that they're jealous of other people, that maybe they're even jealous of their friends or their family or their loved ones. And this is definitely something that you and I have talked about this very, very often. This is
Oh, yeah.
something that I have definitely struggled with in the past. And there's still days and times that I really struggle with this. And like, I feel a little bit of shame talking about it. And I'm a little embarrassed whenever I bring it up. But there was a period of time when you and Alan first started dating, and I had just gotten out of a relationship, story of my life back in those days. And um, I was going through it. I was going through it so bad because it was like I set you and Alan up, like I'm the one that got you guys together, and
Yeah.
it was it was so devastating to me seeing how much you guys hit it off and how happy you were and how perfect you were for each other and how completely sad I was for me that
Yeah.
I couldn't have that, that I didn't have that, that it's so easy for me to put these people together, but in my own life, I can't do this for anything.
Mm.
And something that I talk about with a lot of clients that I don't think, and you and I have talked about this, and I don't think people give themselves the permission to acknowledge this, is that you can be happy for someone else and sad for yourself. And you can
Yeah.
hold those two emotions at the same time. Well, back then, the reason that I was feeling so much jealousy was because I was feeling sad for myself more than I was happy for you. And I couldn't navigate those feelings. I couldn't really navigate those emotions. And it just led to me not wanting to be around you guys. This was before you and I made the decision, I think, to start Evolve or the Y Power podcast back then. And so I was just like, I love these people. I
Yeah.
want to spend as much time with them as I can, but also get the hell away from me. I don't want to be around you. So
Well,
it was brutal. It was
yeah.
brutal. And eventually I got to the point where I was able to talk to you guys about it. But in the beginning, it was just like me being sad for me
Yeah.
outweighed any ability to be happy for the two of you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What was it like being on the receiving end of that? Because I think we all understand what it's like, um, kind of giving jealousy. And we'll definitely dive into that before the end of this episode. But
Yeah.
just just kind of to dive in, because I don't think we ever really hear this perspective a lot. What was it like for you being on the receiving end of that?
Yeah. It's so interesting that you say that because I literally, while you were talking, I'm like going back to that moment. And I ironically also feel guilty for twofold because I think in retrospect, I have two experiences that I experience at the same time. And
Mm,
I want to bring that forward to talk about both of them because the part that I feel guilty about is how much it's literally the opposite of you, how excited and happy and grateful I was for the experience that I was having, right? Like I knew that I had found my partner and how grateful I was for my great friend and having her introduce us. And what I felt guilty for was being and having the experience that I had and have right to this day of being so deeply in love, so fulfilled, having met my person and knowing that the person that had put us together didn't have that. So I felt guilty for what I
Mm,
had because I knew on some degree that it was something that you didn't have. And so I felt guilty for having something that you didn't have. And then the other aspect of guilt comes more in retrospect of because I was so guilty or I'm sorry, because I was so happy and fulfilled and like in total la la land for lack of better words, having met my person
mm,
and also having my friend like right there and having introduced like it was just awesome. What I feel guilty for is the fact that I didn't know how much darkness was being felt by you in terms of the aspect of jealousy, which is like that kind of underbelly of what like the difference between jealousy and envy is from my
mm.
perspective when you're jealous of someone you feel like threatened or you're protective or there's like a pervasive feeling of loss kind of what you just described that like I won't have this anymore. So, like, I'm sure that came out to you in terms of like, I won't have as much friendship time, or I might not have as much focal point on me as the friend now that she's been with her partner. So, I'm sure that there was that
Mm.
loss. Whereas envy is that like, that pain, that wanting what we had. So, you were experiencing both envy and jealousy from my perspective at the same time. And I feel guilty for not being more aware as a friend of what that might have felt like and empathetic to what their experience was. And large in part, not knowing the tells of what that looks like, because
L
of how happy bomb I was in.
Let me ask you something though, do you think it's actually your responsibility to have done that? Because I think this is something that people really struggle with. It's like, I need to dim my happiness down because you're upset. We
Right.
all do this. Now,
So
social
true.
media definitely doesn't make it seem like that because everyone's just like throwing their best moments on there and that's all you see. But in real
Right.
life, I think a lot of people and a lot of our listeners, they do struggle with having good things and being happy because they don't want to offend other people. But do you actually think that it was your responsibility to
Mm,
acknowledge that I was feel or to acknowledge the degree and have a sense of guilt that I was feeling that? I have my answer,
mhm.
but I'm curious
Uh,
as to what your answer is. I think we're gonna be on par with this.
I'm grateful that you're sharing this for this episode specifically. Short answer is no, it's not my responsibility, right?
I agree.
And we have episodes that go into this because if yeah, I'll just leave it short answer. And the comment that I would add on that is because of my personal standard of what I know now in terms of how much impact and influence I had on you and still have on you and with you, not just on you, but with you, and my personal standard of a human being, I, in retrospect, know that the guilt that I do feel in retrospect was an indicator of where I was living below my personal standards of empathy and what it means to be a friend and what it means to have relationships. And what's ironic is hindsight bias, right? Because hindsight with this level of awareness, right? And this level of capacity for empathy and knowing you, could I
Yeah.
have applied it back then? Absolutely not, because that just wasn't the case. So I'm
Yeah.
aware of my bias and my cognitive bias in that, but the short answer is no. I'm not responsible for your level of happiness, for your level of fulfillment, and how you navigate envy and jealousy. However, my personal standard is I would adore the improvement of me making sure that you know that I'm here with you and I'm going to be a support system.
1000%. I agree.
My name is Mandy, and I'm here to chat with you about group coaching with Evolve Ventures. I signed up for group coaching because I was looking to connect with other people who were going through similar struggles that I was. It was really nice to see that I was not the only person feeling the way I felt, having the thoughts that I was having or having the same struggles. It was really empowering to be able to connect to other people, share our journeys, kind of just grow together and all of us are coming from so many different walks of life. And that's really what I think made group coaching such an amazing experience for me, because I definitely learn through stories and experiences. So getting to hear other people's perspectives and their experiences definitely helped me grow. Highly, highly recommend group coaching. It was so good.
Me being on the other side of it, the person who was experiencing the jealousy, who was experiencing the envy,
Mhm.
in hindsight, there's nothing that you could have done that would have made me feel better. Because if you
Yeah.
guys, like, quote unquote, broke up, it's like, what does that actually do for me?
Right.
Nothing. Now, two of my best friends in the whole world are hurt and have lost something magnificent. Like, how does that actually improve my life at all? It really, I think the thing that when you're in that space, the thing that you need to make sure that you're doing as the person who's experiencing the jealousy, the person
Mhm.
who is experiencing the envy, is really diving into your inner narrative. And this is what I needed to do. What are the beliefs that I'm having that are making me more sad for me than happy for my friend? What are the
Mhm.
things that I'm going through that are making it so that I do really feel this way? And what it ended up being was my belief was that that was never going to be possible for me. That
Yeah.
good things always happen to everybody else, this very black and white thinking, that good things are always going to happen to everybody else. And I'm always going to be on the sidelines making these really bad choices over and over again. And
Yeah.
it was this other thing of like, we're the same age. Why does she get to have all of this and I don't?
Right.
And again, it's so easy on the outside looking in. We're the same age. We grew up relatively close to each other, whatever. But it's like we lived two radically different lives up to that point. So,
So
like, yeah, you're the same age. You didn't have the same experiences by any stretch of the imagination.
true.
So, it's not apples to apples. It's comparing like an apple to a watermelon. It
Yeah.
doesn't compare. They're both fruit, right? So, like,
Right.
we're both women. We're both in our late 20s as of right now.
Mhm.
But, like, that's it. So, when it comes to
Fair.
what I wish I could go back to my previous self and what I wish I could tell her is being upset that you don't have this isn't going to get you to the place where you can have it.
Mm.
All you're gonna do is hurt your friendships with
Mm.
both of these 2 people who you love so much.
Mhm.
And what I wish I could have done back then was self-regulate better. Like, really get myself to a place where I'm able to, in the moment, just be happy for you guys, not dismissing what I'm feeling, but holding both of those emotions at the same time and
Mm.
being able to do that. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling some type of way. I understand. I'm seeing the narratives that I'm experiencing. I see the feelings that are coming up. I'm kind of projecting a little bit. I'm future pacing that I'm never going to have this. And God, both have earned this. Not that you guys deserve it. You've earned it through the work that you guys have done. And that's really, I think for anybody listening this, that really is the takeaway from this episode. How do you navigate jealousy? It's understanding what are the narratives that are coming up that are producing this. And
Mhm.
then number 2, understanding whether you're projecting it. And if you are, it's okay. Again, I was there. I did it. I couldn't be happy for her. I was too upset for me. So recognizing that and learning how to hold those 2 emotions and those 2 experiences at the same time. Because if I allowed myself to perpetuate that, I could have ruined an amazing friendship.
So
And
true.
this might have never become.
Wow. That's so powerful, B. all of that is so true. And specifically, I want to highlight and celebrate how you did navigate that jealousy because I've had so many friends in the past be it at that intersection, maybe not with love in particular. I've had
Yeah.
so many friends in the past not be able to self regulate and not be able to get curious, which is what I would consider your journey being. Get curious about those narratives, get curious about what is the feeling of loss that you're having.
Yeah.
And be explorative around your own personal experience, right? And I think that that's one of the biggest things that have separated you from so many people of my past to
Mm.
where not only now are we able to have so much as a result of your self guidance and leadership and humility, but also in that your belief systems are being busted down. What were really negative limiting beliefs around what's possible for you, and what will be worth it is being ever changed and it's ever evolving. And I think that because of that, you're able to show so many other people what is possible for them. And so that's really one of the biggest takeaways that I'll kind of close this episode in is when you can turn your jealousy or your envy. And again, I made a clear distinction between the two a little bit earlier, so go back and listen to that again if you don't know the difference between that. But if you can turn that jealousy into curiosity about your own experience and about what's going on underneath that, there's so much on the table for you in terms of what you're actually able and capable of attracting into your life and beyond your current belief system. That's for sure. So good on
100%.
you in hindsight. Like again, every time we tell the story, it's like always like so heartwarming. And I just, again, I'm in so much gratitude because of the fact be like,
Mm.
I'm so grateful that I don't just have you kind of on the roster of friends that I've lost in my life because of their inability to self regulate and look at those tough mirrors because it's really challenging to do so. And I recognize that now. But I'm really grateful that that's not the case. And you're in my present and you're also in my future, not just a part of my past.
I wanted our friendship more than I wanted my BS, my belief systems.
Girl, clip that and post that on New York City banner. Oh, Times Square. Man, what that would do to change people's lives.
Yeah, like you would not believe.
Hmm.
All right. If jealousy, if envy, if struggling with your belief systems is something that you're having a hard time with, the Evolve Ventures group coaching program, round two, is
Hmm.
launching at the end of this month, July 25th. There's already a good handful of people that have signed up. There's a few spots left, and we cannot wait to have you as one of the 10 amazing people in our community that are part of this group. It is a it is a phenomenal first step for somebody who wants to maybe dip their toe into growth in a community setting that's really low risk, not a huge investment that you need to put in. And you get to be surrounded by other really amazing people. And if you listened to this episode, you can use the listener code Evolve Listener for 20% off the entire program.
Hmm. All the information for that is going to be on our website. You can get there by clicking on the link in the show notes. And again, it's a very special program, very near and dear to our hearts. So we would absolutely adore having you be a part of this once a year group. So, with that being said, Bianca, final episode suggestion for our listeners who enjoyed this episode to jump off to their next one.
270, why we engage in self harm.
Interesting.
Interesting. Very
Interesting.
interesting.
All right. If you like this episode, another suggestion to you would be episode 225, which is a Motivation Monday, so a quicker clip, but it's how to use your resources to cope better. And I think it will actually
Mm,
bridge that connection of be what you did in order to transform jealousy and navigating that, right? Because coping is a part of that process and in the self-regulation. So
for
good
sure.
stuff. All right. I'm
All right,
excited for the next
everybody.
episode. Woo!
Me too. Have a wonderful weekend. We will talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.